welcome back to Boots and Bunny Homestead. I am back in the kitchen today, so you are inside Casey's kitchen. We are going to do a really fun summer vegetable skillet recipe. I don't know if I've done this on a video before. I know I tried to video it before and I lost half of it. So I was like, well, next time I'll make it, I'll just video it. So here we are. This is going to include sweet potatoes if you want, regular potatoes if you want, one or the other, or both, or none at all, doesn't matter. Some kind of squash. Now I've got tromboncinos, so I'm going to use just a little portion of the neck because this is just going to be for me and Steven, so we don't need like a whole buku of it. This is actually going to make leftovers for us. And okra and a green tomato. Now you can put in garlic and spices and onions and all that stuff if you want. I'm just going to keep it the basic recipe. That's the way we like it. So this dish is called Okay. It originated years and years and years ago, kind of as a depression recipe in Okay, Arkansas. So that's why it's called Okay. But it's more than okay. It is great in our book. I make this multiple times during the summer if I have all the ingredients together because I want to use them all fresh out of the garden, except for the potatoes. The potatoes are being stored in our pantry, so I use those throughout the year anyways. So I want to show you, first of all, we need to go ahead and dice up the potatoes. Make sure you wash them off and you can dice them up. I like to do probably about 1/2-inch cubes or less. That way they don't take as long to cook. And I can get the dish done a little bit sooner. Now, whenever you go ahead and get your potatoes started, I'm using a cast iron skillet with just enough oil to cover the bottom. I'll add some more if I need to a little bit later, and you'll see why. But I'm gonna go ahead and dice up the potatoes and get them started cooking, since that is the longest cooking item of the dish. Then we're gonna get a bowl, dice up our okra, squash, and green tomatoes. And we're going to put that in the bowl and put about, we're going to start off with about 1/4 cup of cornmeal and just kind of toss that around. You can drizzle a little bit of oil on it just so it sticks or whatever. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with it. So let's go ahead and get our potatoes cut up. Go ahead and get your skillet preheating. I put mine on medium high until I get ready to put the vegetables in it, and then I'll turn it down on medium. But it has to be hot in order for your vegetables and stuff not to stick. Okay guys, so let me explain real quick with the cornmeal. You see me dice up the squash and green tomatoes and okra and put them in a bowl. Did a light drizzle of oil just because these vegetables were a little bit drier. And then I put a 1/4 cup of cornmeal on it, shook it up, and then I put another 1/4 cornmeal on top of it. But I didn't shake it up because I need the excess cornmeal, because whenever you pour it into your skillet with potatoes, that cornmeal will actually stick to those potatoes and it'll give you that crisp on the potatoes as well. Or what you can do is take the potatoes out, put them in here, do the same thing, toss them up a little bit, and then pour everything back in there. I just have always had good luck with just pouring the this bowl of stuff into the skillet, and then that extra will just put that coating on the potatoes. Because these are not very wet right now. The tromboncino squash is not a very wet squash to begin with. It's very dense, very thick. It's not like zucchini and yellow squash where it's going to bleed a whole lot of water. But the okra is not very slimy right now. I know some of that grosses out some of you, sorry. But this is not a slimy dish. The cornmeal and everything is going to soak all that up. It's not going to be a slimy dish. And then the green tomatoes, with it being hot outside, didn't have a whole lot of water in them. So it's not going to do a whole lot of soaking up the cornmeal. But you can see right here in the bottom, on this bottom side here, right in there, there's extra cornmeal down there on the bottom that, like I said, is going to coat those potatoes. So it looks like potatoes are almost done. I'm going to go ahead and pour this in there because the tromboncinos will have to cook a little bit. So you don't want your potatoes completely done because they'll get mushy, but you need to have them about halfway done so you can pour this in there, because this stuff does not cook as long as the potatoes. So let's mix it all together. Now, as we are stirring this dish up, you don't want to mess with it very much. You want to just kind of get under there and flip and spread it back out, because you're going to have to watch your liquid content in here, and that's why I said we can put a little bit more oil in here later if we need to. You just need to not mess with this very much, because the more you mess with it, the more the cornmeal you're going to knock off, and you just got to just pick it up and flip it over and then just kind of push it back to where you moved it from, and watch your oil content. But I am going to go ahead and add a little bit to this just because I don't hear it sizzling, so I know there's not much oil in the bottom. The cornmeal absorbs all of that cooking fat, whatever you're using in the bottom. It can be oil or lard or butter, whatever you want to use. It soaks it up pretty quick, and the vegetables don't have any to cook. So you've got to keep a you got to keep an eye on the level of liquid that's in your skillet. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit over top, and then just kind of keep an eye on it. I heard it's starting to sizzle now, so it's got down to the bottom. And go ahead and do one more light toss. Like I said, kind of flip and then push it back, flip and then push it back. Alright, and then just let it sit. This is on medium, so it's not cooking very fast, but just let it sit. Don't bother stuff in cast iron skillets a whole lot, because that's where you get where stuff will fall apart. It'll start sticking and it just becomes a mess. So leave it and just let it cook. Check on it in about 3 minutes or so, and then just kind of flip it inwards and then spread it all out. I'll bring you back and show you the progress as it is cooking. Here's a close-up of what mine looks like as of now, just kind of a wet mess. And then I'll bring you back and show you what it looks like as we stir it. Okay, so as you guys see at this point, it's been about 15 minutes. It's getting a nice crisp brown edging to it, and we like ours to be kind of crispy. So it's just at the point of cooking that moisture out and getting those pieces crispy however you like it. Now if you want it to be semi-crispy, not really soggy, but still kind of wet in the breading, you can stop cooking it now if you would like. You just kind of cook it as long as you want to get the texture that you want. Like I said, we just like the crispiness, so I'm probably going to cook it another 5 to 10 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to stir it about every 3 minutes. I've been stirring it, as you watched, every 3 minutes, and I'm just going to kind of see what happens over the next probably 2 or 3 times that I stir it, and then I'll show you what it looks like as we get to that point of where we like to stop cooking it. Okay, so right now I did stir it just then after the 3-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the eye to about medium high, because the moisture level and the crispy level are kind of fighting each other right now. So I want to go ahead and just crisp it up, and I'm going to do that by increasing the temperature of the skillet just a little bit and keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn, because cast iron does heat up a lot faster than just traditional non-stick skillets and it does hold heat longer. So this is kind of like the equivalent to broiling a casserole. I'm going to crisp up the edges and just kind of stir them around and not mess with them too much to where they fall apart, but they're cooked, they're done. I just want the crispiness, so I'm just going to kind of toss it around in the skillet just a little bit, keep it moving so it doesn't burn, and we'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plate this up. You can see what it looks like now. It's just getting crispy brown. And one thing you can do is you can get another skillet and fry a few eggs if you want. You can scramble some, so you can actually put a little protein with this in your eggs and make it a complete breakfast. You can top it with some cheese if you'd like, but just try it out and see how you like it. Alright guys, here is your great okay dish. If you've ever fixed this before, let me know how you like it. If you haven't, you need to try it. Go out and cook you some for breakfast. Or you can actually have it as a side to maybe some chicken or to some Salisbury steak or something like that. So you can use this dish however you'd like. We just like to use it for breakfast, top it with some eggs, and then we've got a super meal. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, we will see you later. Bye.